Haha, well, guess what? Guess what I've just found? Now the question is, how bad are the roads?
Bloody hell. Bloody stupid, aren't they?
It was to get like a second of spin. Yeah, second of spin. Right, you're not going to believe what's just happened. Or maybe you will believe it because you're a viewer of this channel who stayed around till the second half of the video. You're used to this. Alright chaps, I'm doing another MR2 rebuild. You've seen it so many times where I wasn't going to bother videoing anything. But I know there's some people who still just want to see a video, even if it's stuff which I've done, you know, quite a few times, yeah? I can't think of anyone else on YouTube that I follow anyway that is constantly doing the same thing again and again, and it's not really any different, is it? So I have been doing some bits off the camera. I've got these spare arms that I've got, and I've got some new Super Pro bushes for them. So I got all the old bushes out. Some of them actually came out perfectly, look. I've got my technique down to a T now with the bush puller kit. Bush puller trials, you might say. Not all of them came out so smooth, and one of them, this one, has a torn boot. There, this is for the toe control at the rear. So that one's NFG. The bolts are pretty manky as well. I was going to clean them up just for spares, and especially these toe ones. Do like I was actually thinking of doing a full bolt restoration video because I was thinking of getting one of them home DIY zinc plating kits, but yeah, I'm trying not to buy anything at the minute, anything large anyway, because you know the problem is where's it gonna go, eh? Where's it gonna go then? But yeah, anyway, snowing today. I drove up here on the M3 on the Cup 2s. That was a bit interesting, but yeah, a fun drive home later. But what I've got left to do, I've got a new nut for this top here, but I'm actually going to pull the gearbox apart because I've got inside my own head, rent-free, thinking about that little Circlip, which I mentioned on my MR2, well, on the strip down and rebuild of this gearbox, which was a couple of videos ago. There was a little Circlip which hoyed off somewhere, and I don't know where I put it, so just for the sake of my own sanity, I'm just going to strip the box down again. Yeah, we'll have a little, you know, workshop video. I'm doing the same things, yeah. Okay, so I'm about half an hour in now. I'm not going to get this time back, am I? But heyo. Interesting thing that's just happened. I took the middle casing off, and the gasket that I put on, or the instant gasket that I put on, not too bad all the way around. It kind of looks like I put it on thin, and I seem to remember, you know, every time I've done this I always put a bit too much gasket on. So I remember this time I thought, oh, I'll put it on a bit thinner, but you know, I think I'm going to go back to slavering it on. And I don't think I got all the oil off this side before I put the gasket on, because look, that's still sealed all the way around, but that was just kind of blowing in the wind. So yeah, now the question that's on everyone's lips right now, will I find a Circlip lingering somewhere? Because if not, this might have been a big waste of time. But to make it less of a waste of time, I'm going to change this bearing, which I didn't do last time. Didn't really have the time, or I couldn't be bothered basically, but it don't feel too bad. I just char grilled it slightly here, which probably, you know, not going to make any difference, but because I've got a good one, or you know, a perfecto one, let's say, I can just change that across. Haha, well, guess what? Guess what I've just found, huh? Can you sit somewhere nice? Tell you what, you sit on the diff strong. Okay, so this is where the differential sits, yeah? And what have I just seen down here? Can't quite get the magnet in. Can you see? See something? Oh yeah, there she is. There she is. Well, I guess it was a good job I stripped it down. Not sure what kind of damage it could have done. Is it small enough to mess my LSD up? Probably not. I mean, they're pretty strong Circlips, right? But so are gears, so I reckon that will just get chewed up. But, you know, probably low chance of it actually causing anything terminal, but could probably still do some damage. I'm feeling a lot better about stripping the gearbox down again now. So yeah, there she goes. Right, life's looking a lot better on the old gearbox. Spare bearing, good to go. That's good. Got the sealant warming up a bit. I'll change the bath water before we get time to actually seal in, but cleaned up all the surfaces. Yeah, we're just gonna have a good time, right? Everything's gonna go back together just fine. So don't worry about any more gearbox updates. The real problem, chaps. So I've been here about an hour now, and it was like sleety snowing when I got here, but it's not stopped. I've checked the weather, and apparently it's not gonna stop. Yeah, I was not expecting snow today. You know, not that I'd had a choice of another vehicle, but I probably just wouldn't have bothered coming up. Now, I think you can see where I'm going here. Right. So, yeah. Now the question is, how bad are the roads? One thing that I've never really mentioned before, because I don't want you to think I'm moaning too much, is this place. This wonderful barn, quite isolated, yeah, to the sum of 50 miles from where I rest my head at night. So, yeah, I've got a 50-mile drive back in this lovely stuff. Let's go and see what the main road's like. Well, yeah, I guess it's not too bad, but I'd certainly like to get out of here before it gets a lot worse. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the gearbox build, right? But this video has changed. Now it's escape from barn in snow in M3 with Michelin Cup 2s. Hey, what's this? Hey. Yeah, slightly panic stations. Oi! Oh. What's this? Catch it. Huh? Don't drink that. Right, so this whole drive the E46 through February thing has taken a turn. Come on, you. Oh no, the GoPro. Surely you're waterproof, Mr. GoPro. So yeah, anyway, hopefully this will be painless, and then we'll have a go at getting the M3 on. Just changing the bearing over. The only thing I can find that goes over that shaft nicely and is going to be suitable for tapping that bearing on is the jack handle. So. Forgot to put the needle bearing in for fourth gear. Fucking hell.
Bloody stupid, aren't I?
Hey, isn't that quite clean? Yes, it is quite clean actually. So, bearing good. Oh, can't turn shaft though. Where that is. Okay, phew. That was a wee bit nervous there. This side's pretty. Might just be like the Circlips aren't in yet. But yeah. Bloody hell. Alright, my GoPro memory card is not having a good time, so we're going back to 2019 vlogs. Who remembers 2019 vlogs, hey? Anyway, look at all the good things I've done. It's gonna get better. One better, please. New nut there, as promised. Oh, hopefully this one doesn't delete itself. Look at that. Brand new is nice. Yeah. What do you reckon the torque is on that? It's going to be a lot in it. 100 Newton meters? No? 117 Norton meters. Oh, tactical foam placement. Jesus. This little punch was too small. This little punch was too big. But this little punch was just right. Alright, top cover on and we're done. Yep, we're happy. Circlips are in. Aye aye. Right, done. All done this time. Got gears. Oh yeah, we got gears. Right. Tidy up. And then obviously I can't do the snowy driving in the M3 anymore because the GoPro is kill. But tidy up and yeah, we'll go and see how bad it is. See if I survive the way home or not. Right, it's been, what, 2 hours? Ah. It's no problem. It's no problem, dog. Load of fuss about nothing. Hey? Nice sunset, dog. Well, we'll end on that, I think. It's a nice little picture, isn't it? See you in the next one. It's no problem. Ooh! It's a shame that button doesn't do anything anymore. Hey, ha! Great banter. Yeah. Right, we're on to day 2. So I've started today by just doing some little jobs on the block. I'm not going to do any tear downs or anything like that. I would have done that probably a couple of months ago if I was going to do that. I was thinking about stripping lots of things down, and yeah, we've got 2 spare motors anyway. If you know, they're probably going to scrap now though, now that this thing is vanishing. But the small jobs are to just clean up the threads on here, which I've done already. I had to get the 9 pecs out. These were a Christmas gift from Mr. Skyline Man. What do you think about that then, eh? That must have made a good impression on him. Or maybe he just fancies me, I don't know. But yeah, very good. I had to use them with the dye because I couldn't get in with anything else, but the threads were pretty minging on the studs. Even though I've replaced some of them, they were pretty minging, but whatever. And then I've just been looking at the aux belt. Now, you may notice one of the pulleys is missing here. I was just checking the bearings and see. I don't really know what the proper load would be on the alternator or the water pump really, but it doesn't seem too bad. There's a bit of coolant splash around, but everything here seems good. But there's one kind of idler pulley here, which I think this is where the aircon could be if you had aircon, but instead we have a little pulley. And this is the one that felt a bit rough, so let me just show you what I mean. So this is the bearing that I pulled off the car, right? And it has a bit of, I don't know if it's radial or axial or what, but it has a teeny little bit of that, but you know, not too concerning. But just when I span it, it didn't really, you know, this is just an idler, all this does is spin, right? It didn't feel amazing. It's spinning, right? But then it was to get like a second of spin. Yeah, a second of spin. Oh yeah, the weather's completely changed from yesterday. It's about 10 degrees up, but it's constant heavy rain. And that's yeah, it's a good job we sealed this box up yesterday, because there's a lot of water made its way inside. Speaking of a lot of water making it inside, in my spare engines, this is the original one. This was the one that was okay, and I probably should have kept in better condition because I could have sold it. There's nothing tremendously wrong with it. It just wasn't a facelift one, and I put a facelift one, and one of the cylinders was slightly down to the rest, but you know, it's still a strong engine. It was still a third place at Brands Hatch engine. But look at the water now in that cylinder 1, is it, or cylinder 4? Now I think there's a spark plug in there. I can't see from the water. I hope there's a spark plug. There must be a spark plug in there, otherwise, well, I mean the spark plug's in the other ones, so yeah, it might not be terminally dead, but yeah, that's just chilling. But anyway, I pulled the pulley off of that one. So just remind ourselves, this is what the one that was on the engine was doing. Get about a second of spin out of it, right? And then this one from the spare engine, you know, just flowing so much better. And this is a bearing that we just, you know, it's not doing any other function other than to just keep the belt, you know, happy and allow the engine to spin as freely as possible. So basically what this will be is less load on the engine to turn the bearing, in theory, only by a minimal amount, but you can see how much happier that bearing is compared to the one that was on the car. Yeah. And interestingly, as I said, I don't know if that's radial or axial, or I don't know the proper engineering terms, but this one's definitely a little bit looser in the hips. Ever so slightly a little bit looser, but I mean, what we're concerned in is that way, and that way is a-okay. So yeah, I'm going to put that on. Got a new belt, and yeah, I was going to change the spark plugs, but guess who hasn't ordered any spark plugs? That would be me. A little bit of wiring to tidy up, but nothing drastic, and then we'll get it off the engine stand, get the gearbox mated up, and get it in the car. Oh, we've got a new shocker as well. I tried to order just the damper from BC. All I wanted was a damper. Stripped the coilover down, it was a damper that was bent. Tried to order just a damper. I thought it was quite expensive for a damper, but I thought, okay, sure, whatever. And then a full coilover turned up, so yeah. Oh well, at least we've got more spares than what we need now. This isn't quite going how I imagined. A little bit of a lean on, but can I save it? That's the question. Yes, we can. Right, I got something you can all argue about in the comments here. Flywheel bolts. Now I tried to find some replacements for these because, you know, standard practice in it, you should replace them, but I never have, and I can't remember if I had this flywheel off or not. I think this engine came without a flywheel, so I've probably reused these bolts before. Now why don't you want to reuse these? Well, they're meant to be stretch bolts, right? Torque to yield bolts. So what will happen is the threads or the bolt will become deformed when it's doing the fastenerings, yeah? And be no good to reuse. Standard practice, no good to reuse. But when I tried to find some replacements, didn't have such a good time. As with a lot of things on this car, replacements been a little bit difficult. Toyota was an option, but I think they were about £8 a bolt or something. There's 8 of them. So do you want to spend 60 quid on insurance for the flywheel not coming off? Well, I guess you kind of do, but interestingly, I had a bit of a discussion with an engineering train man, and he reckons if they thread in fine, they'll be fine. And then none other than AVE, Perfect Timing, the man, the controversial Canadian man as is now known, he did a video about how to know whether or not a stretch bolt is goosed or not, and whether or not you can reuse it. What did he suggest doing? Well, he suggested doing something which I've just done. Got a nut, the same thread, This is a brand new nut as well, luckily. On all 8 of the bolts, absolutely no problem. Now if these had been stretched and were no good anymore, the nut wouldn't be able to get down very easily. It'd have a lot of resistance, it might even stop. But I mean, it's kind of hard to show you with one hand, but on all 8 of the bolts, threads in just fine. Right, there's no resistance whatsoever. So I'm going to reuse them. But what do the YouTube comments think, eh? Would you always replace these flywheel bolts before even testing if they're any good? You know, like I say, it's probably going to cost you, let's say, at least 50 quid for some bolts. What would you do? I'm going to reuse them. No dramas. Right, you're not going to believe what's just happened. Or maybe you will believe it because you're a viewer of this channel who stayed around till the second half of the video. You're used to this. This is the kind of things that do happen on this channel. So what happened? Well, as I've just said, I tested all the bolts and they were all good. Yeah, no problemos, por favors. But that's somewhere where you can see the bolts. So I had Ed up here, he was helping me, he was holding the crank on the other side, and I was nipping them up. Now the book figure for the torque value on these is 36 foot-pounds and then a 90-degree turn, right? Obviously that's doing the yielding, the stretchings, right? Now I've never actually done the whole turn thing in the past. This has got an angle meter on the head, but now what do you think 36 foot-pounds and then another 90 would be? Obviously it's not a direct comparison, right? You can't really, it's like apples and oranges, right? But I found another figure elsewhere which said 80 foot-pounds. I thought that sounds probably less than what 36 plus 90 would be. So I thought I'll just go with that then. I can't remember what I did them last time. I definitely didn't do the 90 last time. But anyway, these bottom 3, although they're at the bottom now, they wouldn't torque up and they were starting to slip. You know, they were starting to yield. And I was like, oh fucking hell, I don't want this. So I took the bolts out before they snapped, because obviously I didn't want them snapping in the crank, that'd be bad. And now all 3 of these bolts are now bad. So the nut goes down about halfway and stops there, where there's about 2 or 3 threads left. And it's the same on all of them. And one of them is, not this one, it must be this one. One of them is physically a lot skinnier in the hips now. Yeah, it's this one. You probably can't tell. You probably can't tell what's going on there, but yeah, physically a lot skinnier in the hips. So as you can probably understand, I'm not real happy about how this has gone. And I don't want to have a miss, but I've got some more of these bolts, right? But the fact that I've already gone over with these ones, and you know, that's going to try and scurry some other ones from elsewhere. Despite what I said about half an hour ago, I am actually going to now just replace the bolts. I've had a look and I can get some ARP ones for about 35-40 quid, so I'll just do that. So there's some other things I need to buy before I can go back in, heat wrap, some other things. There's more to do anyway. You know, I was going to try and get it in the car today, but it's just typical, right? That I would make a point about something being alright and then it immediately fucks me. I think I would have been fine if I would have put less torque through them. I did some more Googling afterwards and I found something on an AW11, which was I think 56 foot-pounds, which is pretty much the same engine. Oh, it's the same gearbox anyway, sorry, that's wrong. The AW11 gearbox and this gearbox are pretty similar, so I was thinking, you know, you can't, I know I can't really use that comparison, but flywheel bolts are flywheel bolts, right? Maybe not. But yeah, just to confirm, I fucked it. So I might have just gone too much, but I would have thought if that's 36 foot-pounds and you're putting another 90 on it, I would have thought that would be way more than 80, which I was gonna nip them up at. They're an M10 thread. An M10 thread at 80 foot-pounds, quite a lot, isn't it? But yeah, they wouldn't nip. What's weird then, if we're talking bolts and we're still here, so these were all fine beforehand, they all threaded in fine and I could run a nut down all the way. So does that mean that these weren't ever stretched from factory and I've done the stretching there? I don't know. I'm a bit perplexed, but yeah, I'm gonna get new bolts anyway. Put a fork in it for today, we're done. Hey, it's just a good job I didn't keep going. Imagine if one of them snapped in the crank. Ooh. That would no be good. Quick helicoil job on the crank for you, huh? GoPro's working fine today, formatted the memory card. Yeah, seems alright. Got all the footage off it from yesterday. We weren't actually done that much today, but that's where I'm at. So, another bit of time and we'll get it all back together. Thank the Patreons. Thank everyone else. Ta-ra, TTFN.
A few days later.